Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and today I'm here to do something a little different, an out of the theater sort of rapid reaction and review to the new Werewolves movie. I just saw this movie and I'm going to share with you my review and what I thought about it. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. We're in the theater. It's getting ready to start. We'll let you know how it is.
This can happen multiple times a year.
Pretty crazy so far. All right, we are out of the theater. We just saw Werewolves. Man, what a fast, action-packed ride, and we'll get home and let you know our thoughts here. The NGC Cinema here. No AMC, no AMC showtimes. It's a rainy, creepy, cold night here in Georgia. Seemed like the perfect night for some werewolves. All right, so a sort of rapid review and thoughts on the new Werewolves movie. Now, if you follow me, you know I'm a big fan of werewolf movies. I love werewolves. They're probably like my favorite monster. It's one of my favorite subgenres of horror. And this movie, I gotta admit, we don't get a lot of werewolf movies, so I'm always intrigued when we do. And this one was kind of like a stealth reaction, like a stealth drop on me. I hadn't heard much about this one, and then until like right when the release was on us. And as soon as I saw the trailer and heard about it, I was like, oh, I really want to see this, because the word was minimal CGI, a lot of practical effects. I've done practical effects and a practical change for a werewolf in my movie Creature Feature. I know it's hard, and I kept hearing people talk about how it's a low budget film, this and that. The movie stars Frank Grillo and Katrina Law. Katrina Law, like, I most know her from the show Spartacus, and she was fantastic in that. Of course, she's done a lot of other things. And then Frank Grillo, he's been part of the MCU, right? And done some other films. And they're the two leads. And you actually have Lou Diamond Phillips in this film too. And the movie just throws you into it, right? I'm gonna say that I'm gonna try to keep this mostly big spoiler free, but there could be some light spoilers in here. So, like, don't say, "Oh, he spoiled the movie." Just proceed with caution. I'll try to throw it out there if it's going to be a big thing, but. So the movie just throws you right in, right? It's very fast paced. It's like 82 minutes, 85 minutes long. And it almost starts like, my son was watching it with me. He's like, it almost like a sequel. Like, they expect you to know what's going on. But they basically tell you that last year during the supermoon, people got infected by the moonlight, and it turned them into werewolves for the night. Now, that part is definitely not clear throughout the movie, but you don't know what's going to happen to them. Do they stay werewolves? Do they change back? What happens? Like, that part is unclear until the very end. So you really don't know, but it kind of throws you in by like putting the information up on screen to tell you last year this happened, and now we are back to a year later. We're at the night of the supermoon again. And so we're trying to avoid the moonlight and see what happens. So they have a team of scientists led by Lou Diamond Phillips and Frank Grillo, who are trying to find an antidote to the moonlight, to what's causing this. And the only way to do that is to test it on some people. And of course, it talks about the great loss of life last year, because people turned into werewolves, killing other people that didn't turn into werewolves. So people are battening down the hatches, trying to avoid the moonlight so that they don't get turned into werewolves. They're protecting their houses, putting booby traps, all this kind of stuff, arming themselves. It's very much like The Purge meets a werewolf movie meets some kind of outbreak film. Like, Dawn of the Dead or something where there's like an outbreak. So, everybody's arming up and getting ready to survive the night, the werewolf purge, so to speak. And all emergency services are taken away for that night. You're basically on your own. And we follow Frank Grillo. He's trying to protect his brother's family, his brother's wife and daughter. His brother, obviously, it alludes to he got killed the last year when this first happened. And he's set them up, he's protected their house, but he's going to, try to help this crew led by Lou Diamond Phillips to test this serum and this spray to protect them. And, from here, you might get a little bit more spoilers as I go through. But so beware. Beware the big bad spoiler wolf. So they go and test it, and it kind of works. It only works for a short time. And now he and Katrina Law are left to try to survive and get back to his sister-in-law and his niece, because they're in trouble. They're surrounded by werewolves. And this is where I kind of have a little problem with the film, because in some instances it portrays the werewolves as just becoming mindless beasts once they turn into a werewolf and incapable of controlling their actions. But it also portrays other werewolves. Like, we meet the next door neighbor of the sister-in-law, and he's kind of a D-bag. He's arming himself as a werewolf killer, and he doesn't care if they turn back or not. He's a werewolf killer. And he gets turned into a werewolf. And he immediately goes after the next door neighbor, after the sister-in-law and the daughter, and he attacks the house intelligently. He remembers where their booby traps are. He remembers their fence is electrified. All this kind of stuff. So, and he's communicating with other werewolves. So, and the sister-in-law is talking to him. He's kind of responding like he knows. So it's very like when they want them to be werewolves that know what's going on, that the people inside of them still know what's going on, they use that in the plot. And when they want them to be mindless beasts who can't be talked to or reasoned with, they do that. So it's kind of inconsistent in that, but that causes some plot hole problems. But we follow Katrina Law and Frank Grillo as they survive the night of the werewolf purge, trying to get back to save his sister-in-law and his niece. And that leads up to a final showdown with the next door neighbor werewolf. And there's a big fight at the end. And then we go into the problem, as they're trying to survive till sunup. We go into the problem of, this is where it's a really huge problem for me, is the werewolves, are they cognizant? Are they knowing? Because they obviously, this guy next door and the people he's talking to, they know. They're intelligently taking down cameras, security cameras, moving booby traps, disabling electric fences, all that kind of stuff. So they obviously know what they're doing. But then Frank Grillo, he gets into the fight. So this is a heavy spoiler. He turns into a werewolf, and to protect them, because they won't last until sunup. They have no ammunition. And he fights and wins, obviously knowing what he's doing. But then all of a sudden, it's like he doesn't know what he's doing again, because he's coming in there to attack his niece and his sister-in-law. So it's very, very inconsistent with that. But y'all, it is a good, fun werewolf movie. Super fast-paced, action werewolf. I love the practical effects. There's just enough CGI to help with the transition. I love the werewolf makeup in here. I love anytime you do makeup and monsters practically. And I keep hearing people, oh, it's not bad for a low-budget film. Y'all, I'm a low-budget filmmaker. This isn't a low-budget film. When you start talking $10, $20 million, something like that, or more, that's just not mega budget. It's not really a low budget. I think Screen Actors Guild still defines low budget as like anything less than like 2 million, 1.2 million. It's changed over the years since the last time I made a SAG low budget film. But and then there's SAG ultra low budget, which is more like what I did. So your definition of low budget is not actually a filmmaker's definition of low budget. This is just not a massive studio budget film. They still had a nice budget on this film. I 100% promise you. And it shows. I think they do a damn good job. There's tons of werewolves in this movie. Tons of werewolves. It has a little bit of dog soldiers flavor to the look of the werewolves. They're trying to survive the night with the wolves at the door. It definitely has a lot of that in there, so I dig it, because if you guys follow me, you know I love dog soldiers. My son loved the fact that it just threw you into the action and it never let you go. You couldn't find somewhere to go to the bathroom during the movie because it was so fast paced and so good. And I just had a lot of fun with it. It is a fun werewolf movie. You got to overlook the plot holes and some of the questions like that. And then at the end, this is also a spoiler, so don't blame me if you're still listening. They do turn back into humans the next night. So I have this causes big plot hole problems. Big plot hole problems. So once the night's over, they turn back into humans. If that's the case, this whole thing should be approached differently. So there's definitely plot hole problems, but it is an action werewolf movie with great practical effects, fun, practical, like throwback 80s style werewolf practical effects, and I fucking love that. I applaud them for just going for it and doing that and having fun, because werewolves are expensive and hard to do, and I had fun with it. I think you will too. It's you're in and out of it quick. It's a lot of fun. I recommend it, and I just wanted to share it with you. I don't do a lot of like new movie reviews here, but werewolves are my thing. I have a lot of fun with it, and feel free to ask me any questions. If you've enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. You can join below as well. And as always, be kind, rewind. Like always, this is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.